Hello everyone and welcome to my The Young and the Restless official channel. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. Before we begin, please hit the subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up. The Young and the Restless spoilers for the next 2 weeks, March 2nd to March 13th, reveal that several Genoa City residents will face shocking news and major challenges. Let's dive in and discuss what's coming up for many key players around town. While Claire Newman and Kyle Abbott get honest during the week of March 2nd 6, Sharon Newman will interrogate Daniel Romalotti Jr. about his interest in Tessa Porter. Over with Kane Ashby and Phyllis Summers, a rejected offer will lead to some intense threats. Phyllis won't go for Kane's suggestion, so he'll have to try something more extreme to get her attention. Speaking of trying something extreme, that's what Victor Newman will do when he abducts Jack Abbott and uses him as leverage. Billy Abbott will have to sign documents transferring ownership of Chancellor, or else Jack will remain separated from his family forever. At least that's what Victor will claim. Kyle Abbott and Diane Jenkins Abbott will fume over this kidnapping twist, so look for them to take action in different ways. Perhaps Kyle will turn to Claire for help and ask her to get through to Grandpa Victor. Diane, on the other hand, might confront Nikki over what Victor's done and push her to prove her friendship to Jack. Even if Nikki can't talk Victor out of this, Diane may think she can figure out where Jack's being held so they can free him. As for Jack, he'll awaken as a hostage somewhere and find himself totally spinning out. Other Y&R spoilers say Nick Newman will cause some alarm when he vanishes briefly, but it looks like he'll pop back up after putting the pieces in place for Matt Clark's trap. However, that trap won't work out like Nick's hoping, since he'll get a frightening message along with Sharon. Since both Sharon and Nick will receive this information, perhaps Noah Newman will be threatened or kidnapped again. Sienna Bacall might be gone right along with Noah, so Sharon and Nick may have another crisis to tackle. Matt recently demanded $5 million to leave Noah alone, but he may realize the trap's in place and strike back. The week of March 9th, the 13th of May bring more of Matt's taunting and riddles. Matt might eventually lure Nick and Adam Newman to Las Vegas, since it looks like they'll head there for story-related reasons down the road. In the meantime, Mariah Copeland will get ready for her upcoming trial, which is happening by mid-March. Christine Blair Romalotti will offer more advice along the way as they prep for Mariah's courtroom drama. Of course, Phyllis will also have to decide whether she'll surrender the Newman empire. If Kane goes after Marchetti or finds some other way to hurt Summer or even Daniel, Phyllis may at least consider giving up. The Young and the Restless spoilers say the next 2 weeks will bring some great action, so stay tuned. Over the next 2 weeks in The Young and the Restless, from March 2nd through March 13th, Genoa City won't just be shaken, it will be turned completely upside down. The calm that residents so desperately cling to is about to fracture, replaced by shocking revelations, dangerous power plays, and emotional battles that will test families in ways they never imagined. And it all begins with honesty and ends with consequences no one can outrun. As the week of March 2nd 6 unfolds, there is a quiet, intimate moment between Claire Newman and Kyle Abbott, the kind of moment where walls come down and truths finally step into the light. Their conversation isn't loud or explosive, but it carries weight. It's raw, it's necessary. Kyle opens up, Claire listens. For a brief second, there's something hopeful there, the sense that maybe vulnerability can build something stronger than secrets ever could. But while one pair leans toward honesty, another confrontation brews across town. Sharon Newman isn't in the mood for subtlety. When she corners Daniel Romalotti Jr., her questions aren't casual, they're pointed, direct, protective. She wants to know exactly what his interest in Tessa Porter means. Is it innocent? Is it complicated? Is it dangerous? Sharon's instincts rarely fail her, and this time she senses there's more beneath the surface than Daniel is willing to admit. The tension lingers long after the conversation ends. Meanwhile, a storm is brewing between Kane Ashby and Phyllis Summers, and this one won't be contained by words alone. Kane makes an offer. It's strategic, calculated, perhaps even manipulative. But Phyllis doesn't just reject it, she shuts it down completely. And Kane doesn't take rejection lightly. If she won't cooperate willingly, then he'll escalate. He'll push harder. He'll go further. Because when Cain decides he wants something, he doesn't stop at no. And speaking of going further than anyone expects, Victor Newman is about to cross a line that will send shockwaves through every corner of Genoa City. In a move that is both ruthless and chillingly deliberate, Victor abducts Jack Abbott. Yes, abducts him. Jack is taken, hidden away, stripped of his freedom, and used as a bargaining chip in one of Victor's most audacious plays yet. The message is simple and terrifying. Billy Abbott must sign documents transferring ownership of Chancellor. If he doesn't, Jack will remain separated from his family forever. At least that's what Victor claims. The weight of that ultimatum lands like a bomb. Billy is cornered, furious, desperate. He's forced to consider the unthinkable, surrendering control to save his brother. The power dynamic between the Newmans and the Abbotts has always been volatile. But this is war. Kyle Abbott is livid when he learns what's happened to his father. Diane Jenkins Abbott is equally enraged and terrified. Their reactions may differ, but their goal is the same: bring Jack home. Kyle, desperate for a solution, may turn to Claire. He may ask her to reach out to her grandfather, to appeal to whatever humanity Victor still has left. It's a risky move, asking family to betray family. But when someone you love is missing, pride doesn't matter. Diane, however, takes a different approach. She confronts Nikki, face to face. She demands answers, demands loyalty, demands proof that Nikki's friendship with Jack was real, not just polite society theater. If Nikki truly cares, then she must act. Even if Nikki can't persuade Victor to back down, Diane begins to think strategically. If Victor won't reveal where Jack is, then she'll find out herself. She'll dig, she'll investigate, she'll tear through every possibility until she uncovers the truth. And somewhere in a hidden location unknown to the world, Jack awakens. Confused, disoriented, furious, he realizes he's a hostage, and for a man like Jack Abbott, losing control is unbearable. He begins to spin out, rage simmering just beneath the surface. This isn't just about business, it's about pride, legacy, family, and he refuses to be a pawn. But while one Newman scheme dominates headlines, another danger quietly takes shape. Nick Newman suddenly vanishes. It's brief, but long enough to cause alarm. Phones go unanswered, messages unreturned. Worry spreads like wildfire. When Nick finally resurfaces, it becomes clear he hasn't been careless. He's been strategic. He's been putting pieces into place, setting a trap for Matt Clark. Nick believes he's finally one step ahead. But that confidence shatters when he and Sharon receive a chilling message. The trap didn't work. In fact, it may have made things worse. Because whatever information they receive isn't just threatening, it's terrifying. And the fact that both Nick and Sharon are targeted suggests something deeply personal. Could Noah Newman be in danger again? The possibility is enough to stop Sharon's heart. And if Noah isn't alone, if Sienna Bacall has disappeared with him, then this isn't just a threat. It's another crisis. Matt Clark recently demanded $5 million to leave Noah alone. But if he realizes Nick tried to outmaneuver him, he may retaliate with something far more devastating. Taunts, riddles, psychological warfare. The week of March 9th, the 13th of May bring more of Matt's twisted games. And those games could eventually lure Nick and even Adam Newman to Las Vegas. The desert city becomes more than just a backdrop. It becomes a battleground. A place where power, money, and desperation collide. Back in Genoa City, another woman prepares for a fight of a different kind. Maria Copeland faces her upcoming trial, set to unfold by mid-March. The looming courtroom drama weighs heavily on her, pressing down on every quiet moment. Doubt creeps in, fear whispers its worst possibilities, but she won't face it alone. Christine Blair Romalotti steps in with guidance and advice, helping Mariah prepare for the legal storm ahead. Strategy meetings replace sleepless nights. Rehearsed testimony echoes through quiet rooms. Every word matters now. Every detail counts. And through it all, Phyllis stands at yet another crossroads. Cain's pressure isn't easing. If he targets Marchetti, if he finds a way to hurt Summer, or worse, Daniel, then the impossible choice becomes very real. Will she surrender the Newman empire to protect her children? Phyllis has fought for power her entire life. She's clawed her way to the top, but a mother's love can outweigh even the most carefully built empire. As the next 2 weeks unfold, alliances will be tested. Enemies will escalate. Families will fracture and possibly rebuild. Kidnappings, threats, trials, emotional reckonings. Genoa City is heading into one of its most explosive stretches yet, and when the dust finally settles, nothing and no one will be the same. And as the tension spreads across Genoa City like a gathering storm, the emotional fallout begins to sink in. Victor Newman may believe he's executing a flawless strategy, another calculated move in a lifetime of ruthless victories, but even he can't fully predict the ripple effect of kidnapping Jack Abbott. Because this isn't just a business maneuver, it's personal. It's primal, it's a wound carved straight into the Abbott family legacy. In the shadows of whatever he's being held, Jack's frustration simmers into something more dangerous: resolve. He refuses to let Victor define the outcome of this story. Even as the isolation presses in on him, even as uncertainty claws at his patience, Jack's mind is racing. He's calculating, watching, waiting. Because if there's one thing Victor should never underestimate, it's Jack Abbott's refusal to surrender. Back in the Abbott mansion, Diane can feel the clock ticking. Every second Jack remains missing feels heavier than the last. She masks her fear with action, making calls, following leads, pushing Nikki harder than ever before. Their confrontation leaves a lingering tension between them. Nikki may love Victor, may stand by him publicly, but deep down she knows this crosses a line, a dangerous one. Kyle, meanwhile, wrestles with his own conflict. Turning to Claire for help means stepping into delicate territory. Asking her to influence Victor could fracture fragile bonds within her own family. Yet Kyle's desperation outweighs caution. When he looks at Claire, there's vulnerability in his voice, not just as a boyfriend, but as a son, terrified of losing his father. Claire stands at a crossroads. Loyalty, morality, love, they collide in her heart as she considers whether she can reach the man who has always controlled the narrative, her grandfather. If she tries and fails, what then? And if she succeeds, what price will she pay? While the Abbotts fight to bring Jack home, Billy feels the walls closing in. The documents Victor demands sit in front of him like a loaded weapon. Signing them means surrendering Chancellor. Refusing means risking Jack's freedom, maybe even his safety. The weight of that decision could break a lesser man. Billy paces. He argues with himself. He rages against Victor's manipulation. But beneath the fury lies something raw and unfiltered: fear. Because if anything happens to Jack, Billy will never forgive himself. Across town, the danger surrounding Matt Clark intensifies. The message Nick and Sharon receive isn't just taunting, it's calculated to strike where they're most vulnerable. It hints at control, at proximity, at the terrifying possibility that Matt is always one step ahead. Sharon's protective instincts flare immediately. The mere thought of Noah being in danger again sends her spiraling into that familiar nightmare, the helplessness, the dread, the waiting for a phone call that could shatter everything. If Sienna is missing too, the situation grows darker, more complicated. Nick's jaw tightens as he realizes his trap may have backfired. He thought he had Matt cornered. Instead, he may have pushed him into something reckless, something violent. And as Matt's riddles grow more cryptic, more mocking, it becomes clear this isn't just about money anymore. It's about power, it's about humiliation, and Matt wants them to feel it. The looming possibility of Las Vegas adds another layer to the mystery. The neon lights, the desert heat, the illusion of glamour, it's the perfect backdrop for deception. If Nick and Adam both end up there, it won't be coincidence. It will be part of Matt's design, and when the Newman brothers find themselves standing on the same battlefield, old rivalries could resurface just when unity is most needed. Meanwhile, in a quieter but no less intense storyline, Mariah Copeland faces a different kind of terror, one that doesn't involve physical danger but the cold, unforgiving reality of a courtroom. As her trial approaches, the emotional toll becomes undeniable. The anticipation is suffocating. Every whispered conversation feels like judgment. Every glance feels loaded with doubt. Mariah replays moments in her mind, wondering how things spiraled to this point. Christine Blair Romalotti works closely with her, offering legal insight and strategic advice, but also something more grounding: reassurance. Christine has seen courtroom battles that destroy lives. She knows how fragile hope can feel in those moments, and she refuses to let Mariah walk in unprepared. The preparation scenes carry a quiet intensity. Papers spread across tables, legal arguments rehearsed again and again. The gravity of what's at stake hangs in the air, because once that trial begins, there's no rewinding the clock. And then there's Phyllis, always fierce, always defiant. But even she can't ignore the mounting pressure. Kane's threats linger like a shadow. If he targets Marchetti, if he jeopardizes Summer's future, if he even so much as drags Daniel into his schemes, Phyllis will be forced into a corner unlike any she's faced before. The idea of surrendering the Newman Empire feels like swallowing broken glass. It represents power, control, victory, everything she's fought to secure. But when she looks at her children, when she imagines them hurt because of her choices, the calculation changes. For Phyllis, the empire may be priceless, but her children are everything. As these 2 weeks unfold, Genoa City becomes a landscape of impossible choices. Victor risks alienating his family to win a corporate battle. Billy risks losing everything to save his brother. Nick risks escalating a dangerous game with a man who thrives on chaos. Maria risks her future in a courtroom that offers no guarantees. Phyllis risks surrendering her power to protect her heart. And through it all, love, loyalty, and legacy are tested at every turn. The tension doesn't explode all at once, it builds. Scene by scene, decision by decision, until the entire city feels like it's standing on a fault line, because in Genoa City, victories are rarely clean, and survival always comes at a cost. As March 13th approaches, one thing becomes painfully clear. The battles being fought now will reshape alliances, redefine families, and leave scars that won't fade easily. The question isn't who will win. It's who will still be standing when the dust settles.